Good evening and welcome to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news, updates, opinions and my reactions. If you're new to the channel, please do drop a subscription. It massively helps me. We're just about to hit 2,200 subscribers. The support is fantastic. I hope you all had a good day. Ross, Deadpool, good to see you in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Lots to get into today, mainly a transfer one. Once again, Henry, Daniel, good to see you as well. Ramsdale, a new deal for Ramsdale. Jake Madaford. Joe has changed his name to Jake. I'm good, thank you. Unless it's just another member of the Madaford family. Sharmake, good to see you. Sportcat, Bolts. Any updates on Mason Mount? No, not massively. But look, we're going to get into, this new deal for Aaron Ramsdale. We know that Saliba and Saka are obviously in talks as well. Marc Guehi, the price tag for Marc Guehi is off-putting, to say the least. And there's part of that deal that makes it even more off-putting as well. We'll get into that. It's made me not want Marc Guehi at all, pretty much. Also going to talk about Caicedo and how that deal might happen or could happen still. A couple of odds and sods. And, of course, guess the Gooner. Hello, Jamie. Good to see you. Reels. Would you be happy if Mason Mount joined? I wouldn't necessarily mind Mason Mount if we could get him for decent value. Rambo deserves the new deal without a doubt. It's an interesting one because Ramsdale's still got 2 years left plus a year option to extend. So effectively, we've still got 3 years left on that Ramsdale deal, but clearly very keen to tie him down. And look, he has deserved it, as you said. FPL Ben, good to see you as well. If you're watching on TikTok and you want to join in the YouTube chat, the link is in my bio. Feel free to head over and drop a subscription whilst you're there. We're trying to hit 2,200 subscribers. Backup for Zinni once Tierney leaves. I think Kivior could end up being the backup for Zinni, truthfully. Who do you think will win tonight in the Milan derby? I think AC Milan are going to win. I'd be surprised if AC Milan don't win, to be honest. Can't see Ramsdale at any other club than us. No, me neither. Would you take Messi? No, I don't think. Like, as good as Messi is, I just don't think he'd fit in with what we're trying to do whatsoever. Let's get the likes up as well. Yeah, if you could like the YouTube video whilst you're there, it does massively help me. But look, let's get into it. Ramsdale. Arsenal are set to reward Aaron Ramsdale with a new contract. Bukayo Saka and William Saliba's extensions are also expected. That's come from Tom Allnut at The Times. Good source. He said Aaron Ramsdale is close to a new long-term Arsenal contract. According to ESPN, Ramsdale is signing a new contract as a reward for the season he's had, and a formal announcement is imminent. His wage is expected to rise significantly from the £60,000 a week that he's currently on. As well as him, Saka and Saliba are also due to sign long-term contracts, so that's ESPN. And then Simon Collins saying that Aaron Ramsdale is close to agreeing a new contract with Arsenal. The club have an agreement in place with Bukayo Saka and are in talks with William Saliba. Dialogue remains open with Reece Nelson. Also, Howland says, would love to see Marc Guehi in the summer. Well, wait until you hear what I have to say about Marc Guehi, because it has taken the wind out of my sails for that particular transfer. You're my favourite Arsenal fan, bro. Thank you, Henry. I appreciate it. So, look, Ramsdale deserves a new contract. He's absolutely established himself as a top 6, a top 4 level goalkeeper. With such a at such a young age for a goalkeeper, it's an absolute no-brainer to tie him down to something more long-term. Saka social media video done as well, apparently. Yeah, I've seen a few things that look like Saka was doing a video announcement. I think that one's been done Fabrizio confirmed that was done about 2 months ago. So apparently they're going to try and get the announcement out before the end of the season, which I think would be really good. Did Ndika agree a deal with us to join in the summer? No, Daniel. We had talks, and those talks went well, but then I think it all fell apart because his agents were demanding too high wages. When's the new kit meant to come out? Well, it normally comes out in the summer. Obviously, we've seen that one horrific-looking one. Thoughts on Pau Torres instead of Marc Guehi? A better option. I think Pau Torres is a better option just because he's about half the price. Yeah, he's about half the price. So, what do you think about Rodri making 5 fouls and not receiving a single card? I mean, Rodri's ability not to get booked is unbelievable, but it is what it is. But look, with Ramsdale, I just think you look at the issues that certain other clubs are having right now in terms of goalkeepers and finding goalkeepers, like top level goalkeepers that can play the modern way in terms of their distribution and passing ability. They are few and far between, and you pay a lot of money for them. So, I mean, I genuinely think Ramsdale was one of the best transfers we've had in years, and yeah, it just makes absolute sense to tie him down. 60,000 a week that he's currently on is not the sort of money that a top. I mean, you consider that David De Gea is on £300,000 a week, absolutely crazy. So, and De Gea is just about to sign a new contract at Man United, which is wild in my opinion. De Gea should be sold this summer and replaced by Henderson. Yeah, possibly. People were laughing when we bought him. Exactly, and they look silly. And do you know what, right? That ties into... and people talk about, oh, well, he got relegated 3 times, yada, 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 which was always stupid anyway. But you'll see it now with Bazunu at Southampton. 21-year-old, very good keeper for a 21-year-old, but he's getting relegated. So it is one of those. It was a very, very sensible thing to do, to sign him. And to be fair, I don't think Arteta ever envisioned that Ramsdale would get into the starting lineup as quickly as he did. We kept Leno for that season, and I think the plan was always to have a bit of a transitional season. But it was so immediate, almost, the way that Ramsdale came into the team. We're signing a new deal for Ramsdale and De Gea signing for United as well. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I actually don't think De Gea signing a new contract is that bad for Man United. He's obviously going to take a pay cut, and it does at least mean that if they are going to bring someone else in, they can have the sort of transitional period that we had with Leno, and it means they'll be able to sell him on potentially next summer. But teams should be looking at Meslier, especially now that Leeds are looking likely to be relegated. I would have agreed maybe 6 months ago, but I think Melier's looked quite poor recently. I don't know if it's to do with confidence or what, but I do think Melier's looked quite poor. FBL Ben says, I'll hold my hands up. I thought he would be a stepping stone goalkeeper, which we'd move on in 2 or 3 years, but I'm glad to be proven wrong. Look, I think quite a lot of people probably thought the same thing. I certainly didn't think Ramsdale would come straight into the starting lineup or within a few games. But look, I mean, how much better would football conversations be if people could all sort of admit to their incorrect opinions like you've just done? Do you think City will drop points? I think they'll drop points, but I don't think they'll drop enough points. His defense isn't helping him, to be fair. Yeah, of course. Rory, I want to see a PL prediction weekly for content on this channel, like Thogden. It will bring in a new audience as multiple fan bases can view the video for their team. Yeah, I could do that. I just have to try and find time to do everything, you know. Obviously, Thogden doesn't do like team-specific content as well, which frees him up. We'll hold my hands up. I didn't like the Ramsdale deal after Emmy sold and Leno not a ball-playing keeper, etc. Happy to prove him wrong. Yeah, look, anyone that was, you'll only get a very small fraction of people that will still try and tell you that Ramsdale's not good enough. And the reason that they'll do that is because when we first signed him, they didn't want him, and they've only ever complained about him, and they'd rather be correct than acknowledge that Ramsdale was an exceptional signing. And that's like, you get that in every fan base. There are small-minded people in football in general, but in every fan base that just would literally rather be correct, even if it's bad for their team, than be proven wrong. Saw Rangers are in for Trusty on a permanent. Do you think that actually could happen? Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday, Craig. The thing that I found that, and we talked about it as well, that's £2 million for Trusty was just shocking. If Rangers can get him for £2 million, I think they've got an absolute bargain. Same fans who always hated Xhaka and won't praise him this season. Yeah, exactly. Or they'll pretend that they always loved him. That's the other one. I remember when Leno had a man of the match performance last season away at Villa when Ramsdale was injured. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Leno was an excellent professional in dealing with, you know, losing his place in the team. And when he came in when we needed him, he was great. So I think that's what you want. And again, that could be why it's not a bad idea to keep on TikTok. Thoughts on Thuram to Arsenal as a Xhaka backup replacement? It's a decent option. We've not really been linked to him. And I've not seen a huge amount of him play, in fairness. But it's a decent option. Right, I wanted to get on to Marc Guehi. When I saw this, I thought it was an absolute shambles, right? So this is coming from Sammy Mockbell, so it's a decent source. Crystal Palace will demand at least 50 million for Marc Guehi, right? So 50 million quid, which I already think is, if you look at the market for centre backs, I think 50 million is for what Guehi is overpriced anyway. And then Chelsea hold a 20% sell-on clause for Marc Guehi. So if we paid 50 million for Guehi, we'd be putting 10 million in Chelsea's back pocket. That's just not a deal I want to do. It's just not a deal. And we were talking, Pau Torres, you're looking at 25 to 30 million. Up at 50 million, you're talking like a top tier defender. I'm just not sure that he is a top tier centre back. Yes, Ben White was that money. But I'm just not sold on it. I'm just not sold on it at 50 million in the current market for a player that effectively wouldn't be a first choice player. I think, yes, I know he's English, but we don't need more English players. The generally speaking, the benefit of English players is just that you have to have homegrown players, or you have to have a 8 or whatever it is, homegrown players in your team. We've got way more than that. We're absolutely sorted for English players. So, and if we bring in Declan Rice, that's another one. So, yeah, it's just I don't know, 50 million for me. But the real kicker being putting 10 million quid in Chelsea's back pocket would just be annoying. It'd just be annoying. I'm good, thank you, George. Good to see you. Torres has 1 year remaining too. Yeah, I do think Pau Torres could end up being an option. He was a big option for Man United last season. Arsenal women selling nearly 250,000 tickets over 5 games at the Emirates next season is amazing. Yeah, crazy. Absolutely crazy. We need established stars, no more up-and-coming players. It depends what role they're playing. It depends sort of what you want them for, Jake. If we want players for, if you're replacing Zinchenko and Zinchenko's going to drop to the bench, or you bring in someone that is a bit up and coming and can be molded into exactly what you want from the left back. Ramsdale new deal. So you probably already said this. Yeah, Ramsdale's getting a new deal. So even though he's still got 2 years and an option to 10, so effectively 3 years left on his contract, Arsenal are looking to give him a new one, longer terms and more money. Stream keeps crashing. Apologies. If the stream crashes, it's probably my internet again. I do apologize. Eric Garcia from Barca. We always seem to be linked to him. Yeah, we do seem to be linked to him a lot, but it's one of those. I don't see it happening just because of how often we've been linked without it happening. What's going on with Saliba? So Saliba is all of the reports that came out today about the Ramsdale contract also mentioned that Saliba is expected to sign a new contract. He's not as close as Ramsdale or Saka, but he is going to do it. Lenormand is the best centre back option for us at right centre back. Yeah, Lenormand's a decent effort. Someone else just said as well. Yeah, Pau Torres, Bellecote, Chap, Lenormand, all better signings than Guehi. I think they're all better value for money signings. Guehi is way better than Pau Torres. Yeah, but for double the money and putting 10 million in Chelsea's back pocket, I don't know if it's worth it. These defenders we're linked to easily walks into Spurs 11. Oh yeah, 100%. Spurs need 3 new centre backs this transfer window, especially if they're going to continue playing 3 centre backs every game. Did you see Arteta's training Smith Rowe to play a deeper role? Yeah, we talked about that a couple of days ago. Supposedly Arteta is trying to mould Smith Rowe into a sort of 8 in that Xhaka role, which would be good. It's a good sign if it means we'll keep him. I'd walk into the Spurs defence. Yeah, exactly. I'd rather have another right back cover. So if a centre back's injured, we can shift White back into the middle. Yeah, I don't disagree. Do you think Everton are capable of making City drop points? Possibly. Look, I think Man City, that was a good result for us last night. That 1-1 draw, it means that the game is still completely, or the tie is still completely up in the air. And hopefully, City's minds are on the second leg more than they are on Everton. I don't think Everton beat Man City. Could they scrape a draw? Maybe. But I still... The thing is, if City drop points in that, they'll be more focused for the rest of the games. So I still don't see them dropping enough points for us to catch up. Do you think Smith Rowe position could change? Could mean we don't target another midfielder? It depends if we keep hold of all of our midfielders. If we end up selling either Xhaka or Jorginho, then we'd still need another one on top of that to make sure that depth was still there. Tapsoba would be a good signing. Can play midfield as well. Yeah, I mean, I've not seen a huge amount of Tapsoba, but he's been like a top prospect for a while. Brentford, Everton, and Brighton are teams that always do well against City, but City look way too strong right now. Yeah. Would you take Cancelo at Arsenal as another left back? I just don't think Man City would sell him to us, unfortunately. Um, Rory Talks Football can walk into the Spurs 11 with a knee injury. I agree. Guehi for 50 million. Thoughts? So we're just talking about that, Kuro, and my thoughts are terrible. Not only is he not worth 50 million, but Chelsea have a 20% sell-on clause as well. So you'd be feeding Chelsea's transfer window, which I don't want. Are you with selling Xhaka? Look, if Xhaka wants to go, then I would never stand in his way, and I'd never want Arsenal to stand in his way. I just don't understand why it would happen. He gets us back into the Champions League. Surely he plays in the Champions League with us. Just watch the new Colney carpool with Saka. He's such a nice, likable guy. I've not seen that yet. Opinion on buying a new striker? 100% need to. Ivan Toney is my favourite, but we do 100% need to. The news on Caicedo. So this has come from Graham Bailey. He said Brighton are to consider offers for Moises Caicedo. Brighton will not become a selling club, but they are analytically driven and know every player has a price. Now that's funny, because they're saying that they're analytically driven and that every player has a price, except in January when they basically said he was not for sale. So that would suggest that he doesn't have a price. But he obviously does. Thoughts on Busquets leaving Barca? I mean, it's the end of an era. It's the final player of that squad, isn't it? Finally going. But I've seen he could end up at Saudi Arabia with Messi. Imagine a Saudi team that's got Busquets and Messi in it. That'd be outrageous. What about Tony's betting charges? I think you just got to take a gamble, if you pardon the pun. Just gamble on it. Would you sell Partey for 50 million? Would I sell Partey for 50 million? Yeah, yeah. At his age, I think I would. Yeah, for what you could bring in, but you'd have to have the replacement ready though. You'd have to do it knowing that you could immediately go and buy the replacement for him. Vieira needs a loan to a PL side would be good for him. Yeah, I think he does, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'd be very surprised if we saw Vieira go out on loan. We need to get that deal done before McAllister leaves. Brighton will ask for way too much money. Yeah, I don't disagree. Kura says, you think Caicedo's price would have dropped as he hasn't been at his best recently? I think he's been pretty good from what I've seen of Caicedo. Obviously, the whole team had a bad game against Everton, but other than that, I think he's been good. People are hating on Partey too much just because of the last 3 games. He's been outstanding all season and has been at Rodri's level till April. Yeah, I do get where you're coming from, George. I do think people are turning on him quite quickly, even though I think he's honestly just fatigued a bit. We should have got Isaac. Yeah, but Newcastle completely outbid everyone for Isaac. That's the thing, right? There will be, I reckon, one transfer this summer where Newcastle just blow everyone out the water for it. I don't know who it's going to be for. I don't know whether it'll be Maddison or Rice potentially or whoever it is. Newcastle will blow someone out of the water for someone. I think City's going to draw against Everton because Everton will fight not to be relegated and City wants to win the UCL, so it's still possible. It is still possible. And Ketia to Brentford would be a brilliant signing for Brentford. I don't disagree. I do not disagree. Graham Bailey went on to say, despite his new deal, interest in Caicedo has not dissipated, and Arsenal are still very interested in taking him to North London. Declan Rice is a player the Gunners like a lot, but Caicedo remains an option as well. And look, the dream is still on. I will hold on to the dream of Declan Rice being our midfield until it is no longer possible. I will hold on to the dream. It does sound like between them they're going to cost about 200 million, but I dream. Thoughts on Vlahovic? Look, Vlahovic is a good player. He hasn't had the best season at Juventus, and I don't want him, personally. I don't want him. Neymar to Newcastle? I don't know. It would be a marquee signing, but I genuinely don't think it would be that good for them. I always thought take Xhaka away from us, but I can't see Xhaka at Leverkusen. Always would go to Italy. Well, so the thing with Xhaka going to Leverkusen is that his wife wants to return to, I think it's called Rhineland, which is an area in Germany that apparently his wife wants to return to. Someone can correct me on that if my geographical knowledge isn't there, but yeah, I believe that's the that's why it would make sense for him to go to Leverkusen. Have you been in contact with Tom Garrett since Sunday? Not directly, not directly. West Germany, yeah. Would you take Willock back? No, I think Willock's good where he is. I do think Willock's good where he is, and I'm happy for him. You know, his career. You look at some players that have sort of come through the academy and then not quite made it, and where their careers end up. Willock's done a hell of a job, so I'm happy for him. Prediction on the next Real Madrid Man City match: 3-1 Man City. Unfortunately. In terms of the odds and sods, and talking about Man City, this is coming from Footy Insider. It's why it's in the odds and sods. It's a poor quality source, but they're saying today that Man City are becoming increasingly confident of signing Arsenal's talented midfielder, Ethan Nwaneri. Obviously, we know that City and Chelsea are both interested in Nwaneri. Arsenal aren't looking to pay the sort of money that Nwaneri's parents or agents want him to be paid. And apparently, Man City are getting close. So, could be that we lose him, which would be frustrating. Looking back, was selling Willock the right call for Arsenal? Yeah, I don't think the level at Arsenal now has gone up to a point where I just don't see it happening. Aziz is nowhere near Patino's level, and Patino's leaving. I think that probably tells you everything you need to know. Do you think Chelsea will go for Declan Rice? I'm sure they'll try it, but I think it'll be one where I just can't see Arsenal letting Chelsea get one over on us again and getting Declan Rice. I just don't see it happening. Nwaneri can go, according to Dan Waite. His attitude ain't there, much like Amari. Yeah, I don't disagree. And look what's happened since he left. It's been terrible for him. The grass is not always greener, even if you're getting more money. Remember Gideon's LLM? I do. Again, I mean, ZLM's doing all right. Where is LLM these days? I swear he's actually not doing too badly. I've got a really itchy nose today. I don't know why. Oh no, he's not doing great. He's at FC Den Bosch. Yeah, no, he's not doing well. Well, you know, you win some, you lose some. Thoughts on Romeo Lavia? If we don't get Rice, I'd love Lavia. I think it would be a difficult signing to do, but I do love him. I would be interested. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you an ex or current Arsenal player's career path minus the Arsenal part of it. So you don't know if they're still at Arsenal, if they started at Arsenal or what. And you have to guess who the player is. The immense level of pride for the Arsenal ball knowledge goes to the first person to get it correct in the YouTube chat. And yeah, let's get into it. If you're on TikTok and you want to join in, YouTube link is in my bio on TikTok. Head over, drop a subscription. If we haven't already reached 2,200 subscribers, that is the mission for today. Please do drop a subscription. Dominic, welcome. You are just in time for Guess the Gooner. So let's get into it. Let's get into Guess the Gooner. So this player started at Dinamo Zagreb. They went on loan to Inter Zapresic. They then went to Shakhtar Donetsk, Flamengo, Shakhtar Donetsk again, Atletico PR, and Legia Warsaw. I'll go through that again. Dinamo Zagreb, Inter Zapresic on loan, Shakhtar Donetsk, Flamengo, Shakhtar Donetsk, Atletico PR, and Legia Warsaw. And lots of people have got it. I thought that might be a tricky one, but he's back on top. It's Ross Lawman. He has won again. He's had a lot of runner-up medals in the last few days, but Ross Lawman has got it correct. It was not Kleb. It was indeed Eduardo da Silva. Dan Waite came second. Jake Matterford came third. James Bidder came fourth. And Connor came fifth. Congratulations. Well done to Ross. He's been frothing at the mouth for another win. So congratulations to Ross in the chat. It was indeed Eduardo. Do you think we can get Camavinga? No. Camavinga's genuinely like one of the best midfield prospects in the world. For him to be playing at left back in the way that he is in that Madrid team at the moment, unbelievable talent. Unbelievable talent. Never forgive Taylor. Never forgive Taylor. Oh, for Eduardo's injury, yeah. I thought you were talking about George Taylor, who's sometimes in the chat. No, yeah. Sentiments of Arsene Wenger that Taylor should never play football again. Which goal was better, Vinicius or KDB? KDB. KDB's goal was a lot better. Did Tom Garrett's injury make you think of Eduardo? No, it was actually, I saw just when I woke up this morning, I was scrolling through Twitter and there was a video of when Eduardo scored at the Emirates for Shakhtar and everyone applauded him. That was the inspiration. Yeah, no, KDB's goal was unbelievable last night. I don't think people actually... people did realise, obviously, but the cleanliness of that strike and the power he got on it was outrageous. And actually, Stephen Harding says Vinny's was unsavable. I think De Bruyne's was unsavable. I actually think Vinicius was savable because it wasn't right in the corner. I think a better keeper than Ederson could have got to it, I think. Does Cozier Dubry have a future? I spelled it wrong, but you should know how I mean. Yeah, Cozier Dubry does have a future, I think. I think he needs a couple of loan spells first, but I do think he has a future, definitely. Look, time for the Guess the Non-Gooner. Guess the Non-Gooner. Not as much pride, but still a level of pride for guessing the Non-Gooner. Again, this is a player that doesn't and hasn't played for Arsenal, and I'll give you their full career path. So this player started at Aston Villa. They went to Manchester City. They went to Everton on loan. They then went to Everton permanently, and then they went to West Brom. Who is that player? Aston Villa, Man City, Everton on loan, Everton permanently, West Bromwich Albion. Not Fabian Delph. It's a double for Ross Lawman. Ross Lawman at the double bubble. It's Gareth Barry. And Ross Lawman's got it first. It was not Fabian Delph. Jermaine came second, SS9 third, Dan Waite fourth. No, not SS9 second and not Dan Waite. No, they both said Delph. They were wrong. So James Bidder came third and Bolts came fourth. Yeah, I can see why a lot of people were saying Delph. But it was not. It was Gareth Barry. Ross is on PEDs. Yeah, Ross is on PEDs. Confirmed. It's double bubble for him. Look, to be fair, Ross had been very unlucky this week. Check his hard drive. Wilshere will be with Arsenal crew against Wolves. I don't know what that means. Ross's internet's a tad quicker. Doing an Arsenal career mode. Who shall I sell and buy? God knows. God, that's all just based on who's good on FIFA, isn't it? He's at my house. Yeah, Ross is somewhere sat behind me. Your guy, Waneri, was linked to Man City. Yeah, we talked about that, Ahmed. We did talk about that a few minutes ago. Who would your ultimate signing, realistic signing for Arsenal be? It's Declan Rice. Declan Rice is the number one target for me. Very comfortably. Very comfortably indeed. Thoughts on Gonzalo Ramos? Not someone that I'm interested in, honestly. I know he's looked good at Benfica. Would you pay 120 mil for Rice? No, I wouldn't. Yeah, Gonzalo Ramos has looked good at Benfica. Had a good game at the World Cup. But I think the sort of money you're talking for Gonzalo Ramos, I just think when you're paying that money, you need someone who's nearing the finished product and has proven that they can do it at the top level in a top league. That's why I think Darwin Nunez was overpriced, and I think we've seen that. It's why Mudryk was so overpriced, and we're seeing that. Like, when you're spending that much money, you want someone that's going to go straight into your team and be ready. And I don't think Gonzalo Ramos would be. On the sideline with Big Mikel. Nice. I want Balogun to stay and Eddie to go. In terms of ability, I don't disagree. I do think Balogun's probably got a higher ceiling than Eddie, but attitude-wise, I don't think Balogun's going to stay. Is Man United rivaling us for Declan? Yeah, but United. I mean, I'm sure they will try. I'm sure they'll inquire about Declan. But we've got the big advantage that we're in London and he wants to stay in London. And also, I just don't know what their financial situation is going to be. Apparently, they can only spend 100 million plus sales because of FFP. Lukonga to stay or leave. Lukonga, we should either sell or loan. I don't see him being in the squad next season. Why do I feel like we'll miss out on Rice, giving me Vlahovic vibes? It's not giving me Vlahovic vibes. I'll be honest, it's not giving me Vlahovic. Vlahovic always wanted to go to Juventus, and if Juventus had come in, we were always going to struggle to get him. Apparently, from everyone in and around him, Declan Rice has really admired Arsenal. He doesn't want to leave London. He wants Champions League football, and he's guaranteed a starting spot at Arsenal. Like, as long as we pay the money, Declan Rice will come to Arsenal. Like 1,000,000,000%. Tom Burton, good to see you. You have joined just at the tail end, but if you want to go back and watch the rest of the stream, be my guest. That is the end of the stream today. I massively appreciate you all turning up, as always. Once again, we got over 50 concurrent viewers at one point, so yeah, massive appreciation. Please do subscribe if you're new. Smash a like on the stream as well. It does massively help me out. And yeah, have a good evening. Enjoy the Milan derby if you watch it. And I will catch you all at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Goodbye.